Hey, friends and family, what's going on? New listeners, what's going on? This is episode 5 of the Digital Demons podcast. Welcome back, guys. This week has been a wild one. Once again, man, I just don't stop. I'm fucking still stuck in Florida, and having just the time of my life out here. I can't believe that 3 of the first 5 episodes have actually been recorded out of state. And let me just tell you, Florida is absolutely one of the darkest places ever at nighttime. These people don't believe in streetlights around their city, like regular streets or whatever you call it. Their highways have a couple here and there, but everywhere else is pitch black, and it is the weirdest shit to drive at night. It's like being in the middle of the fucking desert. It's the most oddest thing I've ever encountered. Yeah, man, just chilling, hanging out once again. Like I said, this is the third of the first 5 episodes coming from Florida. Odd thing is, I went to a Circle K the other night, and they have a self-checkout machine there, and call me blind or whatever, but I don't really go into gas stations. I always pay at the pump kind of thing, and I don't use Circle K, preferably. I'm a Shell kind of guy when it comes to my own cars. But this Circle K had a machine that totally blew my mind, and I don't know if this is just me getting older or me not really going into gas stations or whatever on the regular, but this place had a machine that you just set your items on, and I've never seen one before. I don't know if you guys have ever encountered it. Let me know. You set your items on there, and it like magically just knows what you're buying. You could just pile this shit on there, and for however it gets figured out, it knows exactly what you're buying. It brings it up on the screen, and then you just pay. I was looking at the lady like, what kind of magic shit is this? I've never seen this before, and it like absolutely blew my mind. I was with a friend, and we're looking at each other like, can you believe this shit? Like, I've never seen this before. And the lady was looking at us like we're out of our minds, and I just thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, still holding it down in the Hilton over here. And I just discovered the other day that I have a new neighbor next door who happens to have a congregation or something, man. I got back in the other night from dinner, and I hear like a bass guitar just strumming, playing some stuff, and I'm like, all right, cool, man. I got some musicians next door. This has got to be kind of cool. I'll just listen to them jam. Didn't really think anything of it until this morning when I woke up at about, I don't know, 6, 7 o'clock. And this guy was full on hardcore preaching. He had like 2 women in his room. And I mean, I'm not against, preaching or, religion or anything like that. But this guy was going hard in the paint, dude. Full on, like, really just into it. You know how you get into like those churches and stuff, and they're hollering and screaming and slamming their fists down and just going, crazy with it. I don't know if crazy is the right really term to use, but he was very passionate about it, and it was clamoring through the walls. And I'm just kind of like, are we doing this on a Saturday? I thought this was kind of a Sunday service kind of thing if you get down like that. So it kind of just threw me off, and so I stood up and I went over to the wall and I was listening like, what the fuck's going on over there, dude? And they're doing worship songs and everything. Like I said, I have no problem with that, but when I'm trying to get some sleep in a hotel room, that's the last thing that I'm thinking is going to be going down is a church service in the room next to me. And it goes on for probably 3.5, 4 hours. And they have instruments and all kinds of stuff in there. And so I'm thinking like it was just kind of mind-boggling to be honest. Wasn't really sure what to think of it, but kudos to them. They do their thing, and no disrespect on the religious community or anything like that, unless you're into like pedophilia or one of those weird things that has to go on with all that. The Catholic Church and stuff has been in trouble for that, so that's a little bit of a gray area for me. But respect to them for doing their thing, but it was just caught me off guard, and I don't know what it is with these hotels out here. The first one had issues with the construction. Second one was jackhammering and floors being ripped out. Third one, I got the preacher man next door. So I don't know if this is just following me around. I just found it kind of ironic that the three places we stayed at had just weird stuff going on. Definitely the last two were a bit of a noise kind of deal, but we'll live with it. They're doing their thing. No harm, no foul. I've never even seen these people yet, so get down with your get down. Live your life, man. Not gonna hate on you. Do your thing, brother. So yeah, let's just jump into this stuff, man. I got a lot of stuff this episode. I just don't know. I don't know what to think, man. I was writing up the show notes and stuff like that, like I usually do, and I'm looking over them, and I'm just like, this is some just crazy shit, man. Like the stuff that's gone on this past week that I've observed and taken in. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like I said, I'm not really one to go on a certain topic and just bang that topic for a long time and single it out. So I just jump around. Like, if you've listened to the previous 4 episodes, just absorb stuff and get it out, I guess. So yeah, we're going to start off with a little bit of Hillary Clinton news, dude. She happened to compare the Oscar snub of the Barbie movie with Margot Robbie and the super woke director that had her hands all over that thing. She compared their Oscar snub to her losing the 2016 election, I guess, and tells them that they're more than Kenough. Kenough, dude. It's Kenough. You're more than Kenough. That doesn't make any sense. I guess homeboy in the movie had a shirt that said that or something like that. I don't know. I'll admit, I tried to watch the movie with my girlfriend, and I got 5 minutes in, and I was like, hey, I love you, but fuck this movie. And we immediately turned it off. And yeah, it was more than enough for me to observe it and be like, yeah, this movie sucks ass. So we turned it off. So not really surprised that they got an Oscar snub, because that movie was total dog shit. So yeah, that's what happened with that. And then she was on video also trying to dance and do the Macarena. I don't know if you guys saw this video of her yet or anything like that. She was at a dinner party with the group that sang the Macarena song back in like the 90s or whatever it was, Los Del Rio, and they bring her up on in front of everybody, and she's sitting up there looking like a fucking fat turtle in her big old Kim Jong-un outfit, and she's bobbing back and forth with her fucking eyes popping out of her head like the meme, where she's looking up at the ceiling and just eyes just completely bulging out of her head. And she's sitting there trying to do this dance, and the camera's panning back to the audience or whoever is at this dinner party, and they're all doing the moves and crossing their arms and shaking it, doing their thing, and she's just oblivious to the fact that there's even a dance. I don't even know if she's aware that this song was created at the time, and she's sitting there shaking her hands in the air like she's some kind of like unhinged Pentecostal at a church service, dude. It was nutty looking, and she had no idea what to do, and it was the most odd and just cringy video that I've seen recently. And I don't know, I guess it's just anything to really just distract that her husband's a pedophile, and it's really, really getting out there now. It's just weird to me to see that kind of stuff, especially when people are just doing randomly just odd stuff like that, and they don't know what's going on, and they just make a complete fucking fool of themselves. We all know Hillary's a weirdo anyways. Her husband, Bill Clinton, is a weirdo too. I'm sure they're probably going to try to fucking kill me for that, but whatever. Bring it on, I guess. Speaking of weirdos, though, it's been in the news, and I don't know if anybody's caught wind of it, but, I like delivering the fresh shit here. Vince McMahon, okay, he was the CEO, president, and ruler of the universe for the longest time. It was like a 50-year stretch or something like that, that the McMahons had been in charge of the WWF and the WWE and all that stuff. Wrestling, if none of you guys are familiar with it. That dude has been in major trouble lately, having to do with sexual assault and stuff like that. And oh my God, dude. He had this lady, Janelle Grant. It said that he hired her in 2019 to run like some kind of financial something or other within the WWE, and he was forcing himself on her and just sending these like insane like sexual text messages and stuff like that, and they had sexual encounters and this and that, and it was made to be kind of just like a hush hush relationship because he is a married guy. His son Shane and his daughter, what's her name? I can't think of her name right now, but yeah, anyways, he had this like hush hush relationship with this lady, and he forced her to sign an NDA in 2022, and he was supposed to pay her $3 million, right, to like just be quiet and don't say anything about it. Well, the payments, I guess, stopped after $1 million, and so she was upset about it and decided to go public with it in a Connecticut federal court. And just the shit that she was describing, it was, oh my God, the type of shit that I seen in these text messages was insane. I didn't like screenshot them or save them or anything like that, but they were so vulgar, man. And you see him doing the acting and stuff like that in his days when he was real prominent on the show when it came to wrestling and stuff, and you just kind of you get this like just this gross idea of the stuff that he's talking about to her. And one of the things he was saying, said May of 2020, he had texted her, "I'm the only one who owns you and controls who I want to fuck you." So he was basically using her as this like piece of meat, like passing around to friends, and they would have like 3-ways and all this like crazy ass shit. And he was trying to get her to solicit wrestling talent to come in and become part of the company and stuff like that. And oh my God, like it was just insane to see some of this shit. So he was sharing her with people and took turns like sexually assaulting her and would lock her in offices and stuff like that and just do this wild stuff. And he was telling her to to send pictures to people forcibly. She basically told him, fuck you, I'm going public. And that's what happened. She got herself lawyered up and made everything public. He was trying to cover it up and forcing her to not say anything. And at one point, I guess he had a assistant or whatever deliver $15,000 worth of Bloomingdale's gift cards to her just to like quiet her up. Obviously, somebody that's going through that type of a situation, at a certain point, you're just going to kind of be like, I don't give a fuck about Bloomingdale's. I don't give a fuck about anything. Like, you guys have been using me like this, abusing me and doing all this sexual stuff to me. And at one point, it said that he had, dude, I can't even believe I'm saying this. He shit on her head. Literally. It was just, when I read that, I was just thinking like, dude, I couldn't imagine. And I mean, you see him, like I said, on the show, and he's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Just nasty. His voice is gross as it is. So I couldn't imagine being around him when he's doing all this like sexual type of shit. Literally, no pun intended. And he gets everything that he deserves, with this case. She was trying to say that he was forcing her to solicit a talent that had been popular in UFC and was also a WWE talent. Well, let me scratch my head real quick. I wonder who that could be. Mr. Brock Lesnar? I mean, there's really nobody else that's tried to go, hard in the UFC. I think CM Punk tried to do like some boxing or MMA kind of stuff like that. I'm pretty sure it's Brock Lesnar. And he's kind of a freak man too, man. He was like requesting like her to send him videos of her peeing and like all kinds of like just really, really like explicit shit. It's just crazy how these people can think they can get away with this kind of shit. Like nobody's going to ever say anything and they're just going to pay him to just shut up. Yeah, it's a nasty little situation. And so now that this woman's gone public with this, Vince McMahon's resigned from WWE, and TKO, which was another company they had bought in with. I guess it's affiliated with the UFC, and they made like a $5 billion sale to Netflix to stream on Netflix their Monday Night Raw episodes and stuff like that. So, I mean, he's definitely going to be into some deep shit pretty soon on the legal side of things. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if Brock Lesnar was actually named in it. Have you seen Brock Lesnar's daughter? talk about spitting image. She's, oh my God. Her head is as square as a U-Haul moving box. It is insane. And she's muscular and just, ugh. She's a wrestler. Well, no shit. It's kind of just, I mean, overpowering genes in that one. I mean, I don't even know if I'm convinced that she was conceived in a woman or if he was just like, hey, draw my blood and make a child that looks just like me. She's a mirror image of him, and it's very scary looking. So God forbid she steps into, the circle or the ring or whatever she ends up doing, because she's going to be breaking people's backs, dude. She'll just be lifting them up and fucking snapping people's necks, man. Ugh, this whole thing with people paying people and doing weird stuff like that. And Diddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, for those of you that are a little bit on the older side, he's a freak too, man. I was reading stuff about him. They've said that, famous people have gone to Diddy parties. Diddy parties this and Diddy parties that. And there's like all these wild claims that he's sexually assaulted different men, and he's been like trafficking young women and stuff like that. And there was a video of him saying that he adopted some girl, and she's a white chick, and she doesn't look like she's young. I mean, she looks young, but it's kind of it turns out that it's like a thing that he was talking about was he saw her on the street and said that her parents weren't shit and that he needed to adopt her and stuff like that to come and like be with him and stuff like that. And it's just fucking psychotic, dude. He's got these guys in the background that are like cheering it on. She's like, oh yeah, and then Papa Diddy came and rescued me or something, or some like just creepy kind of thing. I don't know. It's so just off-putting when I see this type of stuff, and I think these people just need to be fucking eradicated, man. People that are into this whole trafficking thing and just preying on people, dude, that's fucking not right, dude. They need to get dealt with. So hopefully he gets his, man. There's a lot of celebrities that are coming out and just letting him have it publicly, and I wouldn't be surprised if, his name gets dropped. I wouldn't be surprised if his name was on the fucking Epstein list, man. That dude is a straight up creep. Straight up creep. Speaking of other creeps, more news here, because I like looking up these stories and stuff. There was a guy in Pennsylvania that apparently killed his neighbor with a knife in an argument they had because he snored too loud. I mean, how loud do you have to snore, dude, to be a nuisance to your neighbor? I guess these guys shared a wall or something like that at their homes. I guess like I don't know if it was an apartment or something like that. Yeah, I guess they had some type of verbal dispute, and this dude just came into his house and fucking killed him, all because he snored too loud. So if you guys are sleeping next to somebody that snores, or somebody that snores, maybe it might be in your best interest to get one of those devices that you pop into their mouth and keep them from snoring, and probably save a life. You never know at that point. Read up on the internet and see what those ads are telling you, because it might come in handy if you have to, take care of a snorer or something like that. Prop them up so they don't get killed by their neighbors. It's just some crazy shit, man. Over snoring, somebody's gonna kill another person over that. It's shows you how wild people are. So yeah, I've been seeing a bunch of stuff online. This is where I get my my topics of discussion and just try to be kind of wild with it sometimes. I've been getting a lot of ads lately on Instagram. Who doesn't have an Instagram these days? The whole world has Instagram. It's crazy, man. I've been getting tons of ads for body hair laser, like body hair removal, like tools or whatever, the laser ones. And I'm not familiar with how they work, but I've been getting literally like every time I go on Instagram, and it's not like I'm looking them up to try to figure out like, oh hey, what's the best one on the market? I don't know. It's an algorithm thing is basically what I'm getting at. I'm pretty sure it has to do with that. But there's this company called Nood, Nood, and I've been seeing a lot of their advertisements, and it's all for removing body hair, with like this laser technology, and they're like, don't shave your body hair, use this. It's, you know, you use it a couple times a week or whatever it is, and you don't have to worry about shaving or doing whatever you do, waxing. And their commercials and advertisements are funny because it's like, do you want a smooth butthole? I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, who pays for these advertisements and releases them like that? I mean, it's an attention grabber for sure, because I was just like, huh? Like, you're gonna zap your butthole or your balls or whatever and just do your thing until your hair is gone. So I don't know. There's been a bunch of different ones, but that was the one that I've been getting the most. There's a bunch of different brands out there that are advertising. So hey, Nude, check it out, dude. If you guys hear this, shoot one my way. I'd be glad to try it out. Fuck it, man. What do I got to lose? Some fucking hair or something? I don't know. But yeah, it's just pretty out there advertising. Fuck it, man. I'd try it out. I don't know anybody else that would, but I'll try it out. Give it a whirl. Fucking zap my shit and see how it goes. I wonder if it has been like FDA approved, which I'm sure it probably is, because it's not like it's a medical thing that you go into an office and have done. They can literally send it to your house and you can just be smooth as eggs, I guess. I don't know. And there's also been some ads that I seen the other day. One of the weirdest ads was for fake nipple piercings, dude. Like, if you look at this, here's my thing. If you have to fake people out and sell them on a feature on your body that isn't there, I mean, I get it, like the Spanx and things like that. That's kind of a different thing, but a thing like fake nipple piercings, dude, who does that? You either have your nipples pierced or you don't. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, oh, you slip it in and it makes you look like you have your nipples pierced. And it's geared more, I'm assuming, towards women than dudes. Although there are men out there that do have their nipples pierced. It's not like that's an uncommon thing. But it would be very strange if dudes were wearing this. So I'm thinking it's more geared towards the women. But what a deceitful thing, dude. You know, you just slip it down on there and, hey, look, I got nipple piercings. Well, guess what, babe? When it's showtime and you ain't got them there, these dudes are going to be like, what the fuck? Fake nipple piercings. I get, like, some people wear the fake nose rings or fake lip rings, fake eyebrow rings. Trashy. Eyebrow rings are trashy. If you have an eyebrow ring, take it out and just throw it in the trash. That's where it belongs. But so deceitful, dude. I would be so disappointed if I was like, oh, dang, that's kind of tight. And then they'd pop them off and throw them on the dresser. And they're just like, psych, not really happening. I'd be like, we're going to the shop right now. Like, we're going to a piercing place. If you want to play games, we're going to play games. Pierce them nips. Or don't. And then get these nipple covers and make it look like you have pierced nipples. That's kind of weird. But whatever. Yeah, man. Speaking of ads, more ad shit to go along with my ad rant right now. We all know Super Bowl's coming up, and apparently Bud Light, which we all know has gone completely down the toilet in the last year and a half with their whole Dylan Mulvaney thing, is they're going to try to make an attempt to win their customers back, dude. Like, they're going to go over the top this year with a Super Bowl ad that's ridiculously expensive. It's like 60 seconds for, I think, like $14 million or something like that. So they're going to try to win their customers back. We're sorry we went woke on you guys. Please buy our beer again and rocket us back up to the top in beer sales. And I think the damage has been done, dude. I don't think anybody's going to fuck with it. And no matter what it is, it's not going to be any of the previous 90s commercials, dude. Those were where all the commercials were at. Those are the best ones. The Budweiser ones, the frogs, the big horses, whatever you call them. Those were classics. So good luck to Bud Light. Like they say, dude, you go woke, you go broke. These motherfuckers are in the red most likely, and they're trying to stop the bleeding this year with the Super Bowl ad. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. And I really don't want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, dude, either. And I'm not even really a huge NFL fan like that, but I do watch, the championship games and stuff. And it's not like I bandwagon. I'm a Patriots fan. Happened because my dad was a Patriots fan. So, as a kid, just follow suit. And we've had a good run. New England's had a good run. Past 20 years, we've been fucking whooping that ass. And, now we're in shambles, dude. We don't even have a fucking head coach. It's our main man is gone. Belichick's gone. They do have a new head coach in New England. I can't think of his name specifically off the top of my head right now, which obviously goes to show because I don't follow football like religiously. But yeah, I just hope the Chiefs don't get into the Super Bowl, because if you've seen any of the games as of lately, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift relationship thing, every fucking 5 seconds they pan over to Taylor Swift in her luxury box and clapping her hands and doing all this other shit. And I think that would be a severe distraction during the game, and I'm not there for it, man. I don't want to see her every fucking second, every time they make a play or every time they score a touchdown. It's like, what is Taylor's reaction? The same as us, motherfucker. We're clapping or we're booing. That's what it's going to be. And if they get into the Super Bowl, I'm going to be booing. So anybody but the Chiefs in the Super Bowl is my saying. That's what I'm sticking to, and I don't want to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl just to avoid Taylor Swift. But Usher is going to be headlining, so we're going to get to see him do all his pop-locking moves that are now probably close to 30 years old on stage as he sings all of his old hits, because I don't think Usher's had a recent hit in God knows how long. And if he has, it's flown over my old head because I haven't been paying attention to it. I know Usher was the man back in my high school days, Gotta let it burn, all that shit, like the jams. This is the last dance of 8th grade dance. Pair up with somebody, get your groove on. That was Usher's responsibility, dude. That's all I know Usher for, is those last little slow dance songs, and you're just doing your thing, looking for somebody to dance with, and my whole life has changed, whatever that shit was, or whatever, those kind of songs. So I'm not really excited about Usher headlining. I don't know what he's gonna do. He'll probably bring out Lil Jon and fucking repeat the same song that we've constantly heard the past 20 years. So not really gonna be a showstopper at that point. It's gonna be probably just it's gonna be whatever. That's what I think it's gonna be. But they also have Reba McEntire. She's going to be doing the national anthem. That should be kind of decent, I guess. It's going to be her and Post Malone. Post Malone's supposed to sing America the Beautiful. Who knows how that's going to turn out. I guess I'm going to put it on a guess right now that he's going to sing it with an acoustic guitar. Kudos to him, because I've seen Post Malone live. Puts on a super good show. Like, jaw-dropping good. He performs his own instruments and sings and does all that stuff like a real entertainer. I think he has a great stage presence. He has a great show. I think that's a nice addition to Super Bowl, having him sing that. And then there's Andra Day, question mark. I don't know who that is, but she is going to be singing Lift Every Voice and Sing. And if you're not familiar with that chart-topping hit, it's also known as the Black National Anthem. So I'm not really sure where that fits in with all of these songs or whatever, but it's a must-have apparently now in the NFL. And they don't televise it apparently on regular season games because it fucking irritated so many people. But they're throwing her up on stage, and she's going to do that song. And I wonder if anybody is going to be protesting that or anything like that, because it's irritated a lot of people, and I'm anxious to see kind of how that whole fan reaction is going to go. If anybody on either team is going to try to do some protesting shit and kneel during the national anthem, or they're going to kneel during the Black National Anthem, I don't know. So it's a 50-50 toss-up. See if anybody's going to have a protest about any of that stuff. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a weird kind of thing. And another weird thing, speaking of weird things, there's a lot of weird shit that I'm delivering here this episode. Just trying to just knock out some odd topics for everybody. There was a guy, I believe it was after a Chiefs game, who had his friends over. I could be wrong, I don't know. I didn't actually write it down, but they were at his house, and I'm pretty sure it was a Chiefs game. He had 4 friends come over to his house, and then I guess they said, peace out, we're leaving. And then they fucking died. They froze in his backyard. And for like a few days, I don't know what this guy's deal was, but apparently he didn't open windows, he didn't open doors. It just is kind of like a shoulder shrugger in this case, because they were dead in his backyard. and he claims that he didn't know they were back there. Like, hey, dude, I walk past my windows and my sliding glass door on the reg, and I know everything that's back there. I know where the fucking patches of grass are, where pieces of dog shit are at. How do you miss 4 people that are dead, or 3 or 4 or however many it were, that are dead in your backyard? He said that he noticed that their cars were still parked at his house, like in the front, but didn't really put 2 and 2 together. I mean, I guess you can kind of like, I don't even know at that point, because I would figure, hey, I'm going to hit the homies up, make sure they got home all right if they were drinking or whatever the case may be, and they left their cars. Maybe they got an Uber or Lyft or whatever. So I can kind of put that piece of the puzzle together where he was kind of just like, hey, maybe they'll be back. But to not notice there's people dead in your backyard, I don't know. That seems kind of sketchy. But maybe they OD'd or something like that. I don't know. They're still kind of up in the air. But the whole situation just seems a little bit odd. This seems a little bit odd to me. But what I do think is that Boeing, right into the next little topic here, what I do think is that Boeing needs to get their shit together, okay? Because this is the 3rd incident since I've been out here in Florida where Boeing has come up and having problems again with their fucking airplanes, dude. I don't know what it is. They can't get their shit together. And people are ragging on them online like, oh, this is what happens when you have women leading your team and designing and doing all this stuff. It doesn't, I mean, I can't put the blame on them necessarily. I mean, do their designs maybe suck? I don't know. I don't delve that deep into it. That's a more of a maintenance kind of thing. And especially in this case, because there was a Boeing jet loaded full of people, and it was getting ready to take off in Atlanta. I think it was Hartsfield or something like that, and they were getting ready to taxi out, so they're coming up to the runway, and the fucking front wheel falls off. Like, come on, man. What kind of shit is that? You had the door blow off, you had all kinds of other shit, you had the engine blow up a couple weeks ago or last week, and now you got your fucking wheels falling off. Hey, Boeing, get your fucking shit together, please. Nobody wants to ride on an airplane, especially a person like me that has the anxiety level shooting up through the roof already. And, you know, you see all this stuff in the news, the fucking door pops off, and luckily didn't kill anybody, but could have damn well killed somebody. And then you have the engine that blew up out of Miami, and they had to turn around and go land. And now you have the fucking wheels falling off when you're getting ready to take off. And they're going super fast to take off an airplane, as all of you know. Those guys are hauling ass. You don't exactly want your front landing gear wheels to fucking pop off and roll away as you're reaching hundreds of miles an hour. You know, you got hundreds of lives at stake, you know, every time they fly a plane, every day of the week. And, you know, this is what happens. The fucking wheels fall off. So that sucks. They got to get their shit together. And I don't know really what else to say on that one. But I was looking at some more just random stuff in the news. This one was kind of funny, though. There's a British zoo that has 5 African gray parrots, and they've had to rehab them because they cuss too much. I still personally want to get an African gray eventually. You know, I got a dog, 2 cats, snake at home. It would be cool to have a parrot and stuff like that and teach it to do common things. And I don't know. I just think it would be cool. They're pretty pricey though, so I don't foresee myself having one immediately. Maybe down the road at some point, but I think it would be cool. I've always liked birds. My cousin had a bird named Sunny. It was a cockatiel, and I remember every time we'd walk into the house, it would whistle a tune and stuff. It was just really cool. I thought it was really cool as a kid. I don't know if I had a bird. I don't know what I'd name it, but it would be a really good time. But I do have a potty mouth, so I think I might find myself in the same predicament as this British zoo. But apparently they have to rehab these birds with 92 other non-swearing birds. I think that might be a recipe for disaster, because what if they're turned into like swearing parrots? You just have 5 birds that are just total bad influences on them. Then you have almost 100 birds telling people to go fuck themselves all over the place at the zoo. Fuck you, suck my ass. Fuck you, your mom's a bitch. You know, every 5 seconds when you have visitors and kids walking up to the enclosures and stuff, I think that would be kind of funny. I couldn't imagine having a whole enclosure just full of parrots telling people to fuck off. I think that would be kind of funny to see, but I'm sure for the zoo it's kind of not funny because it offends people that don't have a sense of humor. speaking of humor and things that rhyme with humor, Chuck Schumer, the nasty Democrat from New York, man, if you guys are into the Zyn pouches, the little nicotine pouches, I know a ton of people that use them. Watch out, baby. Old Chucky Schumer's coming for your Zyn pouches. He wants to ban them because he thinks that they're worse than e-cigarettes, and teens can get a hold of them easily, and they have a ton of advertisements, and he's saying that they're worse than the e-cigs and blah, 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 blah. Dude, when will they stop? They want to just ruin everybody's fun, everybody's lifestyle. And I don't know how far into things he's going to get with this whole taking Zyn pouches away. At this point, they've removed all the flavored shit in California, and they haven't cleared the shelves yet because clearly people are still getting their vapes and their flavored tobacco, stuff like that. Because honestly, the guys that are running those smoke stores and cigarette shops or whatever you want to call them don't really give a fuck. They'll take the small fine and be able to shell out a few hundred of these vapes and flavored tobacco products and stuff like that and just tell California really to fuck off. But this guy's from New York, and he's coming with this master plan to take away your Zyn pouches. So, I don't know, dude. It's Zyn. Zyn, dude. Z-Y-N. Frank Sinatra, you know. Arsenio Hall. Zinbad. Zindiana Jones. Let's see what else. Benjamin Franklin. Homer Zinson. George Washington. Thomas Jefferson. Winston Churchill. I don't know, dude. Cindy Lauper. How about that one? Dawson's Creek. Oh, shit. Just the news, man. The news is fucking out of control right now. You have the whole lawsuit, too, in New York. New York is just a fucked up place, really. I would hate to be anywhere living near New York because it's just gross. California is already bad, but I think New York is equally right on par with California in terms of just fucked up corruption and just bad players, man. We all know Trump was in a lawsuit, and it was a defamation case where I guess she was like an author or a journalist or whatever, E. Jean Carroll. She sued the shit out of this dude and she didn't collect shit yet, and I doubt she's going to collect anything because they're appealing it. But she was awarded $83.3 million from Donald Trump. She stated that he had fucking raped her or sexually assaulted her in a clothing store like 30 plus years ago, mid 90s or whatever it was. The funny thing is, with this whole character, E. Jean Carroll, she was on this panel to help pass legislation to extend it basically gave people in New York, it was called the Adult Survivors Act. It gave victims in New York, and I'm not saying that every woman is wrong, but in this case where you have somebody that's a prominent figure like Donald Trump and somebody that claims a case and brings a case up against them like this, you know there's some funky shit going on. I mean, he fucking beat out, what's her face? She was a porn star. He beat her in a case and collected a fat paycheck. And it turns out her lawyer was trying to fucking blackmail people or whatever it was from like Nike or some shit like that. He was trying to just cause a fucking ruckus. He ended up beating that ass. So this chick now pops up. Weird that it's on an election year. I'm just saying, hey, it's an election year. They're throwing everything they can at this guy. They're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this fucking guy to try to stop him from being president because of his fan base and his, loyal people throughout the U.S. and throughout the world, really. And so this lady, E. Jean Carroll, she was part of getting this legislation passed, and it basically opens a year window for women to file suits that were outside the state's statute of limitations. So usually, it varies, state to state, 20 plus years usually. So this happened 30 some odd years ago, and she was able to bring a suit against him kind of weird. She's basically bought and paid for. This whole case was paid for through a Democrat mega donor, and he's actually the LinkedIn co-founder. Dude's name's Reid Hoffman. Kind of an interesting character, that he would help finance this whole package deal to get her involved with the lawsuit and stuff like that. And if you pay attention to the race for the Republican GOP nomination for the presidency this year, nasty ass Nikki Haley, who is a globalist and just a bad fucking character, man. She's not good news at all. She's a flip flopper. She's nothing good that we want to see in the presidential office. She also is backed by the same guy, Reid Hoffman, who is a total creep. He donated $250,000 through a super PAC supporting Nikki Haley. You know, it's to the point now where the evil side of things is just doing this crazy blatant shit right in front of our eyes, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore. It's like people have crazy access to everything, so they can see where the money flows, who it goes to, and all that stuff like that, and they have their agenda. You know what I'm saying? They have an agenda with all this shit, and it's crazy to me that case after case after case after case is being brought up, and nothing, you know, that's being brought up in terms of their dark side of things is being covered. You know, you have the whole Hunter Biden laptop bullshit and all this nonsense that he's been doing, and hey, let's sweep it under the rug because Trump just lost $83 million. So let's put that as the headline. Why? Because he's running for presidency again, and that's their worst fear, is that he gets elected again. So there you have that, and a bunch of other crazy shit, man, especially the Texas border. That Texas border shit is really some wild shit. They have they're battling the U.S. government right now. They have down in Texas, Greg Abbott, who is the governor there. He's got a Operation Lone Star going on, basically just to keep the border secure. They want the open borders because that leads them into votes. That's just adding up potential voters for the Democrats, and they're trying to force their hand on him right now. They took the case to the Supreme Court, and they voted 5-4 to allow federal authorities to basically come in and cut away all the razor wire and blockades that Texas has set up to keep illegal immigration, to just quell illegal immigration. And that is just fucking mind-blowing to me, that you have the Supreme Court, the law of the land, you know what I mean, voting on this subject to have federal authorities override state authorities, and the state authorities are now pushing back on this. It just, I don't even know what to really think, man. But the one thing that kind of stuck out to me was the people that voted in favor of doing this. One of them, which was a Trump selected, appointed justice, Amy Coney Barrett. I think he led more with his heart than anything in this selection personally, by bringing her up to be a justice, because what do you know? She turns around and votes to fucking open the goddamn border again and just let these people free flow in. And it's, you know, like I've said in personal conversations with friends and people just in public and stuff like that, I have no problem with immigrants coming into the country. I'll say that a million times over. I have no problem with immigrants coming to this country. They deserve to have a better chance at a quality lifestyle. That's what I believe. But if you're doing it through the wrong channels, then fuck off, dude. If you're just coming in to sneak over and not be a productive member of society here, I don't think anybody wants you in here. We don't fucking want you in the country. You're not going to be producing anything of substance to the country. I kind of get mixed reviews with that, and they're just fleeing dangerous countries. Yeah, I get it. But on the same side of that token, dude, you have all these people there that are flooding through the border that are complete fucking pieces of shit. And those are the guys that put a bad name on people as a whole. And so anyways, now you have other states that are backing Texas. It's like 25 or 27 states or whatever by now that have stated they're going to back Texas and basically go up against the federal authorities, which is crazy, dude. This is like some Civil War type shit jumping off down there, and they have like this crazy trucker motorcade that is coming in, and they're going to help block off the border and stuff like that. And I don't know, dude. I think it's very Hitlerish of Joe Biden to threaten military action against the Texas National Guard. Like, what's going to happen? You're going to fucking battle military on military, arrest military people, and just do this crazy shit. It's very, very, very insane. And I mean, you look at the numbers. I mean, I got some numbers here for people at the border and stuff, dude. You think that it's just, oh, you know, they can't get through because they just don't want them here. That's not the case, like I said. Let's see. It says over 6.7 million illegal border crossing encounters and 7.5 million nationwide have gone down since Biden's took office. And 85% of those have been released into the U.S. 6.7 million people. 85% have been released into the U.S. That's a lot of fucking people, dude. 1.7 million known getaways. And the getaways are basically the Border Patrol agents seen them, but they didn't apprehend them. They got away. Obviously, getaways. Got away from you. See you later. Don't know where you're going. Don't know who you are. And then there it says there's been 300,000 people last month coming over. In a month. In 1 month, they had 300,000 people. And then you have the fiscal year of 2023, 169 people were on a fucking terrorist watch list, which is nuts, dude. Fucking terrorist watch list. You have those people fucking coming into the country. They don't exactly want to get a job and do, you know, productive shit. They're here to fuck shit up. And then you have 35,433 had criminal convictions already. 598 were known gang members. Bad seeds, dude. Not gonna try to get a scholarship. They're here to fucking deal drugs and crazy shit like that. 178 of those 598 were affiliated with MS-13. And one of the most stunning, I think, numbers here was it says that Customs and Border Patrol seized 27,293 pounds of fentanyl. And if you're not familiar with that, it's like a fucking microgram or something minuscule. Like, just touching that shit can kill you. It's an extremely dangerous kind of thing. And that was more than enough to kill 6 billion people. So just think about that shit. Like, just those are the kind of things that they're experiencing at the border. And it's not just like you saw AOC over there in her fucking all white pantsuit crying, look at the children. Yeah, we get it. But also those children are being trafficked and just nasty stuff is happening down there. And it's not a good situation, dude. So you also had the guy, too, that fucking came across, and they had him on camera saying to the camera guy, if you're smart enough, you'll know who I am. You're really not smart enough to know who I am, whatever he said. And it turns out that guy, and I don't know if he was apprehended or what's going on with him. Turns out that guy came in, obviously, illegally through Texas, but this is his second journey back into the United States. Turns out this guy was the fucking chairman of the Azerbaijan Islamic Party. Okay, his name is Mavsum Samadov, and I read into that, actually, and this motherfucking guy, convicted of arms trafficking and illicit use of weapons, criminal premeditation and conspiracy terrorism, and sedition unlawful disobedience. So this dude was here to just fucking coordinate terrorist attacks and set up a terrorist group and basically attempt to just like overthrow the government. So they found him the first time and locked him up. It says he was convicted October 7th of 2011, and he served 12 years and was released January 19th of 2023. So hey, surprise, he's fucking back. This guy was just all about just fucking down with the government, and it goes back to saying that there was fucking 60 something that were on the terrorist watch list. Just insane. 169 people on the terrorist watch list. That's crazy. You know, we're living in the post 9/11 era, and these people are coming over, and it's not just people from Ecuador or Mexico and stuff like that. They're coming from everywhere. They're coming from China. They're coming from UK. They're coming from Russia. These people are here illegally, for one. That's obvious. And two, they don't have any good intentions for the country, dude. So it's pretty wild what's going on down there, and I'm kind of anxious to see how this whole situation plays out. And that kind of whole situation also kind of leads, I think, into recent news also in El Mirage, where you had those 6 people get murdered in the Mojave Desert. And that's gotta, they have been kind of tight-lipped on that thing, but the people were shot and killed and then burned. You know, that's like some cartel type shit, dude, if you ask me. Like, that's some drug ring type of shit. I don't know if it was like some territory, or, you know, they have a lot of illegal weed growers and stuff like that do their thing, or they're running other types of drugs. I would guarantee that has something to do with that. It's a cartel fucking situation, because I mean, realistically, you think about it, burning somebody, that's like premeditated shit, and these people were like charred. You know, it's not just, oh, they got burned and their skin showed signs of burns. These people were charred, dude. You can't light somebody on fire with a fucking Bic lighter, because eventually their clothing is going to burn, and they're just going to be put out, and they're just going to have burns. These people were charred, which means that there was alternate, you know, substances or whatever you want to call that put onto them, and then they were lit on fire, dude. So that's definitely some wild ass shit, man. It's pretty crazy. So I think that's one of those things that just plays into this whole open border situation, is you just are going to have trouble like this all over the place. And not like it hasn't been prominent within the past 10, 15, 20 years, but not on the level that it is now. It's pretty crazy. I don't know. But, you know, I had some people write into this week, which was cool. I enjoy checking out your guys' messages and stuff like that, and seeing what's going on. I had one person writing in, was asking me what I think about the possibility of World War III. It's not off the table with the state of the world right now. You have a lot of shit going on in the Middle East, obviously. You have the shit going on in Russia and Ukraine. China's popping off. North Korea's popping off. You know, you have people, the Houthis over there that are Iranian backed. They're fucking launching rocket and missile attacks and shit on American bases and our warships and stuff like that. So the way I look at it is, these people got 10 months. They got 10 months until there's a possible shift in the political landscape here. And I know I got really political with this episode, but you know what? This shit, I have a pretty strong opinion on it, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but fuck you. And, you know, I would say that, you know, the possibility of us getting into some hardcore shit before, you know, election time rolls around is, I wouldn't say it's a definite, but it's a possibility. You never know. Every day, different shit happens, and stuff is underreported, or it's just flat out not brought to your attention because of the way that everything is controlled media wise. So I would kind of wise up and do your own research and stuff like that, and kind of see what the floating opinions are, and how a lot of this stuff gets pushed to one side, and it's just kind of just shoveled down people's throats and made out to be not as bad as the situation really is. So, you know, do your own research, man. That's my whole take on that. So let's see some of these other questions here. How many pets do you have? Was one of them. I currently have, 2 dogs currently. One is living with me. One is at my dad's house. He's still my boy, Chaz. He's a Rottweiler. I have another Rottweiler named Blaze. He's my little baby. And then I have 2 cats that are Russian blues named Smokey and Bandit. And I also have a Burmese python, believe it or not. I'm not a snake kind of guy, but I got a snake at the house. The snake's name is MJ, if you were wondering. Let me see here. Let's go down this little list here. What are some things you like to do? I am very much involved with listening to music. Music is basically a therapeutic kind of thing for me. If I'm in a bad situation or having a bad day, whatever, I could throw some music on, and I listen to all kinds of shit, front to back, all over the place, every kind of genre you can imagine. So I like listening to music. I like riding motorcycles, got a couple motorcycles, and I also have my classic bugs that the majority of people that know me personally know that I'm obsessed with the VWs. I have a 66 VW that is my absolute child. I have no children, if that was going to be a question. 0 children, unless you're talking about my animals. Those are my babies. But yeah, I built a 66 bug. It's a street style bug. And I have also a 68 Baja bug, which I also need to get working on because that thing has been severely neglected. Let me see. Have you ever given a hickey? No, dude, no. I know, I know some people that are into the hickey game, and that shit's not for me, man. I don't like that shit. It just doesn't do anything for me. I don't need to be fucking Van Helsing, dude, to get in the mood. And I'm not gonna be fucking Buffy and the Vampire Slayer style on anybody's neck or their arms or wherever. Just not my thing, dude. It's not my whole cup of tea on that. So I don't like having my skin sucked until my fucking skin bruises. It's not with it, as some people would say. Another one. Are you straight? Yes, I am straight. I'm a straight male. Definitely a straight male. But yeah, man. Shit. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we covered in this one. I'm glad you guys are still tuning in. Still rocking with the podcast. I know this one's got to be probably a pretty long show. Didn't really mean for it to go as long. It's kind of just how I get down. If I got some shit to speak on, I'm speaking on it. You guys should know that by now. We're 5 episodes deep. And just for everybody, also, one of the new additions, I know I was talking about doing a Facebook page last week. Decided against that because Facebook didn't really work out for me. And so I decided to go to Twitter, also known as X. So if you guys are on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, I do have a page now up on there also. My @ for that is @DigitalDemonsPod, but it's spelled all capitals DGITLDMNSPOD. So if you guys are on the Twitter, X app, or whatever you want to call it, if you guys are getting down with that, add me on there, man. I'm gonna start getting busy on there and having some fun. As always, you guys can hit me up on email, digitaldemons.podcast@gmail.com, or my Instagram too, man. Instagram, dude, we're doing all right. We kind of stopped getting some followers for a minute there, but that's all good, dude. We're here for it. We're gonna rake those numbers up and get us a little bit higher in the follower game there, because what fun is it if you're not having any interactions? But you guys can get me there on Instagram @digital_demons_podcast. Show your boys some love on there. Spread the word. We're also on all your favorite streaming services. Anything you can think of, go and add those. Go listen to the podcast. Share it with everybody you know. And, we're getting busy in 2024, like I always say, man. So thank you guys once again. This is episode 5 from Florida. If you guys are interested in sending me any messages, holler at your boy. But as always, thank you guys for listening. The new listeners, thanks for checking out the podcast. And we will see you hopefully next time back in California. Fingers crossed, you guys. I need it. Everybody needs it. So we will see you guys next week. Peace.